What's going on, everybody? Hey, boy, we bite. We bite for episode 8.
Yo, yo.
Go ahead and hit that thing. Go ahead. We go. Thank you. Y'all far too kind. We keep telling y'all don't have to do that. Y'all far too kind. Welcome back to episode 8 of the Rocking Chair Chronicles podcast. The podcast where we just pull up our chair, sit back in it with a little nice beverage, and go ahead and discuss some things that we've been thinking about. So today we got a good one for y'all. But first, before we get into it, we're gonna tell you like we tell you. Look, for those who are watching this here, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. If you have, we appreciate it. Thank you. If you have not, hey, stop just listening and don't. Hey, you gotta subscribe, okay? Go ahead and press the little button. It's free. I promise it don't cost you nothing. We're not gonna send you no bill. So you see it scrolling across the bottom. Like and subscribe to the podcast and go ahead and support us. Go ahead and support us. You're sitting here listening. You might as well support us if you're enjoying the content. So that's that. And secondly, if you have any kind of inquiries, any kind of questions, suggestions, any kind of thing you want to, you might be mad at us about something. So go ahead and send all of your inquiries to this email right here on your screen, Rockin' Chair Chronicle Podcast. Oh, dang, I said the name. What it is? Oh, it's
Rockin'
right there on
Chair
the screen.
Chronicles 904 at
Yeah.
gmail.com.
See,
Again,
he the
Rockin'
millennial.
Chair Chronicles 904 at gmail.com.
See, I'm old. I got an excuse. I'm old. Y'all see the grades popping. Man, the thing right on the screen, and I still had a problem reading. But he said a Rocket Chair Chronicles 904 at gmail.com. Send us anything you want to send us, and we'll happily read your email, and we will take it into consideration. See, I got that part right because I was having problems at first. We were saying stuff like take it into
Right,
advisement.
right.
It was
We're
just
going to take
crazy.
it into consideration.
Yeah, it was a mess around here. We was having troubles around here, but that we got all that sorted out right now. So here we go, episode 8, and we go ahead and we go get right into it. Today's episode, we're gonna be talking about something that's a little bit maybe taboo to a lot of people, and
Yeah.
depending on how you grew up or where you grew up at, or just your own personal thoughts on the matter or whatever, we're gonna be talking about our thoughts on mental health. Our thoughts on mental health. I know y'all have heard that word, that phrase going around today. Seeing like it's popped up more and more when you say these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, seeing like, people always bringing it up and just having their own ideas about it. So we go throw our hats in the ring on it too. So that's what we go talk about today. Well, we thank you for joining us as we get ready to talk about this topic. And I think it's kind of one that's you got to kind of you really got to be careful on this one. I think you got
Mm-hmm.
to be careful on this one because we just go tell y'all from the beginning. We think that in certain situations, in certain circumstances, it's real, and certain circumstances is fake.
Right. Yeah.
Depending on how you know it comes about, or how it's used, if I can say it
Case
in
by
that way.
case kind of thing. That's how I look at it. You got to see what's actually going on before you make a judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a case by case thing. We got to kind of look at it and see, um, how it goes. So this is what I was thinking about
Mm-hmm.
as we start to broach this topic. I was kind of thinking like, all right, so y'all know how we always tell y'all we look at everything. Told y'all from episode 1 off top that we looking at it from a Christian perspective. We coming from a Christian worldview. So that is going to be how our thought process goes, and that's how we're going to communicate things to everybody. So when I was thinking about this one, I was thinking about it like this. You know how some people are just hard line on it and say it's no such thing as mental health issues. It's you know, people just looking and making excuse for their behavior. It's no such thing as mental health issues, and it's just this and that's that. You have people who do that, and then you have some people who just always bringing it up. And mental health, my mental health, my mental health, my mental health, and this, I got to do this, that, the third. And they're coming at it from that other angle and just blaming everything or just saying that it's, you know, everything you could just sweep up under that tent, that umbrella of something that has to be or something that's due because of mental health,
Right.
as they would understand it. But I think how I think about it, and you can jump in also. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm coming from this standpoint. So, as Christians, right, we would shoot. I gotta kind of say Bible believing Christians, like Christians who believe you saved by grace through faith. That's crazy how you gotta kind of because everybody kind of
Yeah.
claim they Christians. You see what I'm saying?
Uh,
So you got to kind of get that down to the nitty gritty. But anyway, when I think about it, it's like, all right, so if we're saying that we're all born in sin, every
mm-hmm.
single person that has ever been born has been tainted and affected by sin
Right.
in all areas of their body, materially or immaterial and material. So we see that evidence physically, don't we? Like
Mm-hmm.
how we get old and our body breaks down and we go through illnesses and sicknesses
Right.
and tragically how it affects, little kids in the womb physically when they're born with different abnormalities
Right.
and they have, different things going on as far as they're diagnosed with stuff like Down syndrome and all those other
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things that happens. Now, if we were not in a world of sin, those things wouldn't happen.
Right.
But because sin is a reality, that's what you see occurring in people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of times we stop with the physical. We don't consider the immaterial man, which we would say the spirit or the soul, however you view that. Like
Right.
that is being tainted and affected by sin as well. Like Christians,
Right.
we would say that mankind is spiritually dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, immaterial, the soul, the spirit, has been also impacted by
Right.
what sin has caused. And so when you look at it from that perspective, or at least how I'm thinking about it, so that would include how your brain functions. Oh, and let me
Mm-hmm.
just put this out here too. Of course, we're not medical doctors. Okay, so we just coming from the standpoint, hey, we just thinking about it. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
don't send emails talking about, hey, y'all, you're not doctors. Doctors say this. Look, we know doctors,
Mm-hmm.
some doctors say it's no such thing as chemical imbalances. Some say it is. We're not coming to our own, I don't care. That's not my area of expertise. Okay. I'm just thinking about it from my perspective. I'm giving y'all a picture of how I think about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the way the brain works is also affected by sin, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
what causes brains to work and synapses to fire and everything that's working that,
Mm-hmm.
like that's included in it. In my thinking, that's how I'm imagining it. So to me, that is mental issue,
Right.
and in some people it could be shown more, and in some people it could be shown to a lesser degree. It's just
Right.
like people
Yeah.
say, like people you may have heard the example of people saying, and it's actually a really good point. Like, you know, everybody hasn't done what Hitler or Mao or
Right. Yeah.
Pol Pot or Lenin and all those
Right.
guys.
What
Pol Pot. That boy named Pol Pot. You never heard of Pol Pot?
Hey, what kind of name
Man.
is that,
Yeah,
man? That's
Pol
crazy.
Pot. Hey, I forgot what country it was. He from back in the
Man, that
day.
dude sound dangerous,
Pol
man.
Pot. That boy.
Pole
That boy.
pot.
Hey, if your first and last name is two syllables total, boy, you a bad boy.
Pole pot,
Pol
man.
Pot. Google him. Hey, if anybody remember what country that boy was from, go ahead and put it in the comments on this video.
Pole pot.
Pol Pot. Yeah. So he was he was bad dude. So if you know everybody hasn't done what they've done, though everybody has been affected by sin. in the same way. It just hasn't expressed it in those certain ways. So I think you could kind of look at it like that when it comes to quote unquote mental health issues with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people you see extreme evidences of like, wow, what in the world did he do that? Or
Right.
what the world
Yeah.
was she thinking when she did that there? And then other people, you know, like me, my mental issues not evidenced that much. Like I don't know. Maybe y'all might think different. I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of how I think about it. I'm coming from that angle on it,
Yeah.
Stu. What you got to say about it? That little part
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah. You made great points, and I agree with you know, what you said. I'll say, of course, sin, taints the creation. So I just like to think of it like an umbrella of things. Umbrella is sin. Then within that, you have your, bevy of issues that people go through. So we're all susceptible to all those things, like you said. Like even though, um, you know, a lot of us aren't, serial killers or, mass murderers, things of that nature. But we all are, because of that sin nature, are susceptible, to different things and doing all those things that those evil men have done. So, um, yeah, so that goes, the same thing with mental health. You see your different walks of life, and then people experience different things that could add on, exacerbate, that part of them to kind of create those mental health issues that they may be going through, things of that nature. So I think, it affects us all differently, and it's just, got to be aware of it and try to nip it in the bud. And it's only one thing, of course, um, you know, I know that helps me is that foundation, in Christ. So, and we, get on that later. But yeah.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that yeah, I think if anybody's gonna have like a discussion about something like this, you gotta kind of be working with the same definition. Like, what do you mean? It's like you gotta
mm-hmm.
define terms when you're talking about certain things today, because some people, depending on how they understand it or depending on if they got any type of biases or anything, they might see or they might define something, differently than what you are, and then you arguing one way, and the other person arguing the other
Right.
way. Y'all not
Yeah.
even working with the same definitions on things, and so that's kind of. I think this might be like one of those things where people might not be working from the same definitions.
Mm-hmm.
So if if what has occurred with the fall of man, if we would readily admit that it affects mankind physically, why wouldn't we say that about the mental part of
Right.
mankind?
Right.
Like
For
how is
sure.
that kind of just well, that part is okay, but physical, yeah, we will admit that because we can see it.
Right.
You know,
For sure. Yeah.
I kind of
And
think
then
that.
you saying that it made me think about, even though he's a Christian, Paul. How he said the things that he wanted to do, he doesn't, and the things he doesn't want to do, he does. So it's just part of that battle. Like you say, spiritually doing things. We have consequences of doing, of sin and doing things, that can affect you. So, like you said, bro, physically and spiritually, mentally.
Yeah, everything, the whole man's whole constitution is how some people might say it. Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
it affects everything. Like you, boy, it did a number on mankind. Now I know some people might be listening to this and saying, hey, you know, I'm not looking at it from a Christian perspective or a Christian worldview or whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. But whether you look at it from that angle or that perspective anyway, you're eventually going to say some things that the answer to those things are what occurred in man, if I could say it in that way. So um, these things just didn't happen just out of the blue. It was a reason that mankind is in the situation and in the state that they're in. So all right, so we kind of start from there. We kind of working from there, and now we do also understand that it is people who just use that for excuses too. Like we said earlier, like
Yeah.
people use it for excuses. People wanna to to get attention. For certain things, people wanna be absolved from blame, and people just
Hmm.
wanna not be responsible for anything that they do. And they'll say, "Mental, I got mental issues. I got mental health issues." I watch a lot of those. Me and my queen, my mon chérie, my amore mio, Denisha Latrice, I love you, baby. We watch, yeah, for sure. That's facts. So we watch a lot of those crime shows, and on some of the episodes where somebody is unalive. See, why I remember, you gotta say unalive. Yeah, so some people are unalive, and then they'll get to the court case, and they're going through the trial, and everything's coming out about the trial, right?
Hmm.
And you sit here seeing how detailed and intricate their plan was to commit their crime. Like, I mean, like it was just like one little small misstep on their part that caused them to get caught. But I'm sitting there looking at
Hmm.
these things, and I'm like, dog, but that boy was a heck of a thinker, man. Like, they did all this, they did this, they covered this part, they did all of this. Very shrewd and detailed and pathological in how they, methodical in how they did it. And then they want to get in court and say, I got mental health issues.
Right.
I'm pleading insanity.
For sure. Yeah. You see that all the time.
Like, I don't, man, just in my thinking, I'm looking at that and I'm like, dude, you just did things that not many people on this planet can do. Like, even when
Hmm.
you think about, like you mentioned, serial unalivers. I think you said it earlier, but we should be all right. Like
Yeah.
one,
My
two, but
fault. I
yeah,
shouldn't
you
say.
you good, you good,
Apologies.
you good, you good. We ain't apologize for nothing. So and I know that might be I got like a little paradox too. I was thinking about too. I
Uh-huh.
think I'm about to bring out this paradox.
Okay.
So like even when you look at like serial unalivers, the way that they go about it, it's a reason that they not getting caught for so many times. Like some of them still not even caught,
Hmm.
and like people might get in there and it might get in there if they eventually get caught and say, "Hey, I have mental problems. I plead insanity." So I look at certain things like that. Now I also look at how some people get in there and seeking attention or to be absolved from blame. People might call the people who
Right.
seek attention. They might call them what's the word? Somebody who always focus on this a narcissist, right?
Right.
Yeah, like a
Oh, your
narcissist or
dad.
something.
Dad be
Yeah.
studying that,
Shout
boy.
out to Dad, but that
Boy,
boy,
he gonna send me a YouTube link after this.
man, that
Check this
man
out,
be
son.
looking at, oh, I
Narcissism.
done told you. And so, but check this
Uh-huh.
though. This is what I was thinking about. Like, what the hell? What narcissism might be some kind of mental defect itself. You see what I'm
Could be.
saying? It's
Could
kind
be.
of like it's like a paradox almost. Like, man, you just trying to get off of something. You just trying to say you got you just trying to say I have mental issues. I'm pleading insanity when you really just a
Uh-huh.
narcissistic person
Right.
or something. But that
Hmm.
might mean something really wrong with you more than a normal person too.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's kind of
Right.
like,
Yeah, like I couldn't think of any specific scenarios. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of specific scenarios. Um, kind of like the general thing you said, bro. Somebody, does a crime and scream mental health. I got mental health issues. I know you probably see a type of person like this all the time. You kind of alluded to. I think you touched on it briefly. A person that makes everything about them, and then it's like a me against the world kind of attitude. Everything that happens to them is the byproduct of somebody else wrongdoing.
hmm
They always void of blame. The reason why they do it to be void of blame, or it could be other various reasons. But ultimately, they're a selfish person. You know, so um, yeah, yeah.
yeah, we really just thinking out loud,
Hmm.
and hey, you got comments, comment on it, or whatever, how you think about it. But Yeah, I kind of look at it like that. I would definitely readily admit that it's people who just use it to try to get themselves off something, like you say, to
Right.
avoid themselves or blame or to get off the hook about something just because they just evil people. Like we definitely just believe a lot of people is just evil people when
Mm-hmm.
they do certain things, and they were readily aware with what they were doing. You know, and they just
Right.
decided to do it because that's the nature. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with all that said too, though, it's like that was kind of a lot in a few minutes, but it's kind of like I think it's a danger, inherent danger of just downplaying any of it or overhyping any of
Right.
it.
Yeah. For sure.
Like if you just the type of person who say nothing is a mental issue, I don't believe in it, and people just
Mm-hmm.
evil people, and they just do it in no way, shape, or form. Like it's any kind of mental issues. Like that might send a message to people who might be having some kind of battles we don't know about,
Right.
and make
Yeah.
them like, man, oh man, I'm just evil, and man,
Right.
I'm just man,
And they won't talk about it. They
yeah,
keep
they just keep
suppressing it,
bottling it up, like
which
suppress it.
isn't good. Yeah, that's not good at
Yeah,
all.
and
So
then eventually, what you know how it is. Like we eventually we got a bottle under pressure or something under pressure. It's
it's
eventually
gonna
just go
burst it.
blow up. It's go explode. So that might happen to that person who was thinking of it. Who was maybe actually really dealing with things. And then
Right.
you have the side of people who just want to sweep everything under the rug of mental issues, like everything. Like somebody chronically 5 minutes late for work or something, or 10 minutes late for work. They want mental health. My mental health is suffering. I can't get out to get to work. No, just stop being late from work.
Right.
You see, I mean, that's a crude analogy, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's kind of how simplistic some people make it. Like, oh, I just did this, and uh, I roll over every night at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it take me like 30 minutes to go back to sleep. And I'm thinking about what I got to do for my day. It happen all
Mm-hmm.
the time. I think I got mental health issues. It's just kind
Yeah,
of
man.
stuff
Hey.
like that. People just make everything like if it's everything, then it's nothing. You see what I'm saying? Too, because
Right.
everybody got it. Then it's like, okay, oh, everybody crazy.
Right.
What you think?
Yeah, I think this so this part here, I think this is where your discernment comes in that even though you have some people that create scenarios or embellish and different things, doesn't mean that you have people that's going through legitimate genuine issues that could be you know uh you know a detriment to their mental health or whatnot. Um, so that,
Hmm.
like I said, that discernment comes in to be able to kind of decipher, okay, yeah, this is a real issue, that anyone, it will bother someone. It might be different degrees, but it's a real issue. So you gotta have that, judgment to be able to kind of, know that. Um, then you got the other side of it too. Like you said, bro, you have people that kind of may, embellish in certain things, and how things are now. You can go to the doctor, and man, you can say you got these different symptoms or whatnot, and get prescribed something. And me personally, I don't believe in using those opioids or antidepressants, to kind of deal with things that like you said, bro, that we go through, humans go through day to day. So that's the other side of it. I think we can kind of go too far with it.
Yeah, those narcotics that they
So,
like. It's
yeah.
money and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure.
anything with, and you actually bring up a good point. Anything that these doctors do or push, it's a lot of money into it.
Oh yeah,
For
yeah. Big
them
pharma,
to
big pharma.
prescribe certain things and get kickbacks from these companies and things who make those
Hmm.
drugs and stuff. Um,
And then they can really cause some real issues. Then you
yeah,
know, so
yeah. But I know me
but
personally, I don't like I wouldn't ever like I don't know. Like I don't know enough about all that kind of stuff as far as people being prescribed certain things. Like I
hmm
don't know, you know, because I don't I'm not affected in that way. Like I can't like when people get prescribed things like for like anxiety and depression, all that.
Yeah.
I don't get prescribed anything. Like I don't, by God's grace, I don't suffer with that stuff.
Hmm.
So or at least not to a certain level, I would say.
Right.
So I don't. I mean, I don't
Man.
know. Like I actually kind of think that's a different topic too.
Hmm.
A little bit from what we talking. That might be like more nuanced, a more nuanced topic, like prescriptions and stuff like that for mental health. Like
Hmm.
I don't know. I ain't really gonna say nothing about that. I don't know. But I mean, I guess maybe it's just like anything. You know, too much of something, too much of anything, is bad. That's why people blow
Right.
up and stuff. They just continue to eat, and it's bad for you eventually.
Hmm.
It's like with anything. Too much of it might be good initially, but then it just ends up being bad because you're overdoing it,
Right.
something like that. So I think we can agree in that way. Um, but yeah, you got some people. They just everything is mental health. Like they just, I mean, they not taking the blame for nothing. Boy, it's always something wrong. I have mental issues. Like I know jobs now giving mental health days for people to take. So
Hmm.
and I mean it could be just anything. Like
Gonna take me one.
yeah, you've been taking
I was
mental
just
health
playing
days. Hey,
now.
look, I'm gonna just tell you like this here. Hey, but
Uh-huh.
look, I'm gonna say, look, if they go ahead and give you that,
Hey, use them
go
thing.
ahead and
Use
use
them
it.
thing,
Shoot,
man. Let me take a minute here, they boss.
yeah, go ahead and use it. If you got that and you earned that, you'll lose it if you don't take it. Go on, take it. Shoot, it ain't like you admitting to being crazy. I don't know. That's just me thinking. Shoot, why, go ahead on and take it. So yeah, overhyping stuff. To you know, like normal stress things, like normal day to day things. People just overhyping and just say, "Oh, my mental health is suffering." Like, nah, that's just stuff. That's normal stuff that everybody goes through day and day. Getting the kids ready. Got to get the kids out. Got to take the kids. Got to make sure the house straight. Got to cook. Got to clean. Got to take the car to get the service done. All that's just normal things that happen day to day. And sometimes you will get overloaded with that stuff. That doesn't mean you have mental health issues. Not properly speaking. Okay, at least in my thinking. That's what I think. And then hey, we was talking about this too. Like
Mm-hmm.
because he is a millennial. I am from the GOAT legendary generation. Y'all already know. Gen X, everybody thinking it already. They
What
already know
the
before I
crack
said it.
babies?
Hey man, you
them
crazy.
boys, them boys crazy.
Hey, that's that Gen X. We came behind them boomers. So you gotta
Uh-huh.
you gotta you gotta blame them. We got
Man,
mental health issues. We
yeah, the
gonna
boomers.
blame them.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on the boomers, man.
You wanna touch
I
on
got
boomers at
smoke
some
with the
point?
boomers.
Oh, we might have to
Nah,
do a boomer
they can wait
episode.
though. But one thing, that they don't do related to mental health.
Yeah, we
So, are
about to
going through
get to
stuff.
it now. Yeah, we about to go and get to it now.
Mhm.
I think about how the generations look at it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
In different cultures, even maybe. So
Hmm.
I know like with the older generation, like we could say the boomers, the silent generation, which is before the boomers. I couldn't think about it before. The one that came before the boom, the silent generation, like the depression generation. Them boys from the
So
depression
they
era,
like the 30s.
the Great Depressions. Oh yeah,
Okay.
them boys from back in them boys were rugged. They was rugged back
Hmm.
in them days,
Oh
but
yeah.
they weren't trying to hear
Oh yeah,
like you,
man.
man, my mental health, man. You get transported back to the silent generation era, talking about I'm having mental health problems, and see what happens. Man, they gonna put you. You ain't gonna need no time machine. They gonna get you out of here.
Right.
Talking about some man, what man? We up here working on these
Uh-huh.
tall behind buildings and stuff, risking our life putting buildings together.
Right. In wars.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
war, man. Great Depression, man. It's hard. We scrapping to eat out here. You right here talking about something, man. I had my mental health day. I need a mental health, man. Please, them boys were for real back in them days. But I know, like with different generations, like damn, the boomers even, like it was almost like it was unheard of.
Right.
Like it really was
Yeah.
never, nothing was
Something you
talked
don't.
about.
Yeah, you don't touch on. You don't talk
Yeah, nothing was really talked about from an older generation. perspective, and then you had, Gen X came, like, but Gen X, like the mid 60s to late 70s or 1980, depending on
Uh-huh.
what you see. It was, I mean, I still think it wasn't really a thing.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
still really don't think it was a thing. So really, I think really like, yeah, it's on y'all, man.
yeah. Like I think you start to see it more with the millennials. Definitely with the millennials. Um, what Gen Z? What's this new Gen? What?
For sure, Gen Z. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Gen
for
Z
sure.
came right after y'all. Yeah, like
Yeah,
for
Gen Z.
sure,
You see it
Gen
with
Z.
them. Yeah, they're a
Hmm.
they're a lot more vocal. Expressing how they feel, what they're going through. There's nothing wrong with that. I will say I want to throw this in here though. Just don't talk about your issues with everybody. Everybody don't need to know what you got going on.
Man, we need a
Yeah,
button that say facts, boy.
yeah, man. Like you got to be strategic with. You got to know who you can tell. Anything to. Um,
Yeah, for
and
real.
it's unfortunate. Some people may not have that. You know, um, but that's very important. If you got somebody like that, who's not gonna judge it, but they're gonna tell you the right thing. You need to talk to them about what you got going on. But yeah, bro, I think the later generations definitely uh got a good grasp on that. You know,
Probably, yeah,
so
probably more so Gen Z.
mhm. Yeah,
I forgot that. What's the oldest in Gen Z? I forgot, but
it's one after Gen Z, right? What's this new one
Gen
called?
Alpha.
Yeah, Gen
They got the
Alpha.
wrong name, Gen
Yeah,
Alpha, man. Yeah, it's
I don't
not
even know
Gen
when that
Alpha.
starts. When that starts.
I think like
Uh,
2000 something. It's 2000 something Gen Alpha. Somebody tell us, please, in the comments.
mhm.
But I would say probably like the younger millennials is probably when it kind of started, and I
Yeah,
think it corresponds now.
millennials start when 80, late 80s.
Yeah, like 81, 82.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think it kind of started like the younger millennials, but I think all that stuff it seems to me that it correspond with the Department of Education coming in,
Mm-hmm.
the federal government in education. I think the Department of Education came in like the mid 70s.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing was instituted. And so, once again, we talked about this a little bit before too on the prior episode. When the government starts training your children, they go train them how they want to train them.
Mm-hmm.
And when that stuff starts getting into them, then that's just gonna have a trickle down effect. So I really think it's like it really just started taking root, like with the newer millennials and definitely into the Gen Zs, or younger millennials, I should say, and then the Gen Zs, and it's just it's got a mind of its own now. Like we said before, everything is a mental health issue.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is mental health, man. Everything is this, everything is that. And in a lot of ways, man, it just made a whole lot of soft people.
Yeah, man.
Hmm.
It does. Me personally, um, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a millennial, but I identify, with the
Go ahead and say it,
some
Steve.
some things with the older
Go ahead
generation
and
as
say
far
it.
as being a man.
Like X, man.
Yeah, man, you're gonna go through things, man, and you gotta try to, get through them. Everything, like, especially being a man, you gotta be a leader, gotta be strong. Everything's not a mental health issue. So, um,
Hmm.
today, you know, this is just I look at things like my boy Thanos said, balance. You gotta be balanced with things.
Hmm.
I like to say it like this. You could be going through something. It's not wrong with being in an emotion, but you can't let it overwhelm you. So you can be in it for a short time. Then after that, okay, now got to be solution mindset. To see how overcome this and whatnot. Let's get it. So that's how I
Yeah,
look at it.
yeah, yeah. Real deal Holyfield right there. Yeah. So it was definitely something that was kind of taboo for sure back in them older generations. And when the other generations, the newer generation started coming on, it was things started
All
coming
right,
out a
man.
little bit more.
What's that?
Some good, some bad.
What's that football player, man? I think his name. What's his name? Ronnie Lott, man. He got hurt. I think he was in the Super Bowl or something like that, and he got hurt. I think his thumb. he broke his thumb. They said you can't play, man. I think it was something he
Yeah,
did.
around that
And
lot.
he amputated that boy
They
amputated
say,
his thumb
is
or
that
something.
real? I
I
thought
think
that might be one of the things.
I thought it was for
It's
real
fact.
though.
Okay.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look after
I
though.
heard about that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, man, hey, I kind of respected it though.
Yeah, I
Like,
heard
you
about
know,
that boy. Say, look at here.
I ain't trying to lose my thumb, but I
Nah,
respect it.
that boy crazy, man. That bring up a whole nother thing, like the CTE and all that too, though. But like I don't know, like, cause I mean, just
Like,
think about it. Like if you
them
repeatedly
boys
get,
probably really had CTE back
yeah,
then.
like if you
Yeah,
repeatedly get hit, it's like running to a wall all the time.
right. He like cut my thumb off.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you sitting there running to the house, so your head hitting against your
Uh-huh.
skull multiple times a day, every week.
Right.
Like you think you gonna come out straight with that from that? You see what I'm saying? Like it
Right.
ain't
Yeah.
just like little mini car crashes every
Right. It
week.
is.
I don't know. I'm just putting that. I'm just thinking about it. Um, so that's that. And then too, like we kind of already talked about it, how our Christian worldview, like how we think about it, helps us. And you brought it up earlier when you talk about discern things. Um, I think that discernment also sometimes will tell you, look, like I just don't know.
Right. Yeah. 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 What you don't know, you don't know. You be
Yeah,
able to discern that I don't know.
yeah. You go
So
out there and go out there and start saying things to people who might have real problems. Things you tell them, just hey man, you ain't got no problem. Just suck it up. You know, or just think about this good thing. And then I guess you might think that advice just make the other person say, you know what, let me just all right, that worked. You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm.
it's stuff just not like all that's not like that. You know, so sometimes discernment you just have to like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Right.
You know? And then I think you also brought it up too. Maybe not, but um, about how that allows you to, because you don't know, just have compassion on people, not to judge things too quickly.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about hey, we don't judge stuff now. So don't come sending me no emails with that there, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm saying judging certain
It's
situations.
judged with righteous judgment.
Yeah,
That
righteous
involves
judgment.
discernment. So,
If you don't know, you don't
yeah.
know. You know? But if you have like I think we can also learn like patterns too, like certain patterns of
Like that,
things.
that sound like that right there.
Yeah, for real.
Pattern
That's
of
true.
behavior, son.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's real. Like just patterns of certain things, and then you can form your own judgments off of that. You know. But I think the thing about us humans is that we don't know everything,
Right.
and a lot of us sometimes think that we do know everything.
I try to come off as such, knowing that you
Hmm.
don't. You know.
Yeah,
So,
and it's okay. You don't know everything. You're not made to know everything, man.
right.
You know
You know
something?
what, man? A lot of people don't. You probably should, depending on who you talk to, man. You have a lot of different conversations about a multitude of different subjects. You
Hmm.
don't know everything. You don't. You. I hardly ever hear people say, "Man, you know what, man? I don't know."
Yeah, that's true.
That's not crazy when I think about it. Like,
Yeah,
man, I don't know,
yeah. A lot of people just
man.
they
Yeah.
just keep digging holes for themselves.
Right. They just make up something on the top of their brain. You
Keep
know.
going, digging that hole deeper and deeper. Then
Right. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Now
Uh-huh.
look, I ain't gonna lie. Like, look, y'all, hey, look, y'all know me, man. Like from like my a lot of my mentality from back in the day carries over to now. Okay,
Uh-huh.
like before I was saved. So I'm sitting there, like I know something, but I play dumb sometimes.
Oh,
Just
you got to do that though.
let the
You
person.
got to
I'm
do
like,
that,
oh yeah,
man.
so da 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 da, and I just know they just sitting there lying, or just
Right.
sitting there digging a hole deeper and deeper. I'm like, it could be something just simple. Not really. This is just an example. Like, yeah, man, I promise you, 1 + 2 is 5. I'm like, oh yeah, for real? Where you saw that? Yeah, but da 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 da. I'm like, for real? What? You just gotta kind of. I'm like, no,
Uh-huh.
in my mind, I'm just like, man, come on, like, stop, man. Like, we just don't know everything.
Right.
And it's cool to say you don't.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things where one thing we do know is that I think if we want to be really fair and honest, because of we going back to the beginning, because of how man got in the predicament that man is, and because we see physical abnormalities, there has to be spiritual abnormalities and all of the other parts of man that we can't see.
Right.
So we would have to admit that, yeah, there are real instances where people are really suffering mentally, like more than other people. Like it really has had an effect on them. And then you also have to admit that some people just use it for to seek attention, to get a certain end to whatever it is that they got, and that's whatever that is too, you know. So at least that's how you know we see it. Yeah. What else you got? You got any other thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say this. It's probably one of my last few things I want to touch on here about the whole mental health thing.
Oh man, I thought you
Uh,
was finna quit, man.
oh,
You sound like this is gonna be my last episode.
oh,
I was gonna say, man, hold
my
up, man.
last episode
Yeah.
here, man.
Go ahead. Go
Um,
ahead.
yeah, man. I think one thing that helped me though, man, and like one thing I could say, both of my parents, but dad, he's a very optimistic guy. My mom is too, man. She's very optimistic. I like to say I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'll say, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I don't like to, look at things. I like to look at things from a certain point of view. So, but one thing, from the Bible that helps me is Matthew 6 when Jesus was talking, about how the birds, how they are, they don't sow, they don't reap, but the Heavenly Father makes sure that He feeds them. How much more His children? So,
Hmm.
that really helps me. No matter what I go through, it's always it's for a reason, and it always works out. So, try not to, worry about things or be stressed out by things. And I like to say I don't believe in stress. Not saying that I can't be overwhelmed by it, but at the end of the day, I know, my foundation and um, God's looking over me and has control over everything.
Yeah, that's real right there, and that's facts too. So thank you, Stu. Yeah, so that's kind of just the thoughts on mental health. So let us know what you think about it in the comments. Again, send us emails, Rockin' Chair Chronicles 904 at gmail.com. That's Rockin' Chair Chronicles 904 at gmail.com. Man, I thought that was some good thoughts there you had, Stu. Yeah, this was a pretty
Likewise,
good
bro.
one to me. Yeah. So make sure if you have not subscribed to the channel, and you're watching this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Share it around, tell your friends. Got Shunny and Stu here, and they just sitting there chopping it up. They talking about it. They just talking about any type of topic. They not ducking topics. We got some stuff coming up too. Next week, boy, we got that debate about the GOAT generation. I mean, not generation. We could that one already settled. We know what that is. But we got
Oh
the
man.
GOAT decade generation come up. We got some people saying the 70s was the GOAT. We got some people saying the 80s was the GOAT, man. We got people saying the 90s was the GOAT. We ain't found nobody to argue for the 2000s. I even
Oh, I got to
said,
vouch for them now.
I even said that you can have the OOs, the 10s, and the 20s. Nobody still ain't want to argue for the 2000s. I mean,
Mm,
they could just stay out. Like, I
uh,
mean, because I know you say the 90s. I say the
yeah.
90s. At first, I was like, man, nah, man, you can't vouch for the 90s because you was just
Uh,
born in the mid 90s. So, like, how you know?
right.
But
Uh huh.
you could kind of join up for the 90s because right now we got two people for the 70s.
Uh huh.
We got one person for the 80s and two for the 90s. Me and you. Like somebody tried to say 60s, but I don't,
The '60s.
I ain't.
Man, if I was
I
back in
hear
the,
you,
hey, I ain't trying
but
to go
look,
back there.
hey,
Then,
listen,
hey,
that bird won't fly right there if you just look at us and see why we ain't saying the 60s. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
uh huh.
but then I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I think the 80s got a little bit of the case. I was thinking about it more and more, man, the 80s, boy.
I don't know much about the '80s, man.
Man, the 80s was good, man, because the 80s had pop music.
Mm,
And a new Jay Swing R&B kind of started to come on. Like world events Like you had like it was like remember the Miracle on Ice, the hockey thing. Everybody like to talk
That
about
was
and
in the
stuff.
80s?
Yeah, that was the '80s, like when USA beat Russia or something like that.
I don't know about that.
Like it was the '80s. The '80s got a good argument. And you had
I have to do my research on the 80s.
yeah, the Lakers and the Celtics rivalry and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, we done with the 80s when it comes to basketball.
The '80s was tight though. I still think it's the '90s though. The '80s got an argument, but it's the '90s.
Yeah, and you had Jordan, the GOAT, man, in the 90s,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So that's what we got next week, man. So we looking forward to that one. Then we got something coming up after that too. Uh, man, we trying to wait on these people to go on drop these little Epstein files. Like I know that Trump signed the Epstein
Some act,
what they
some,
call it?
I forgot what it's
Well, your
called.
Transparency Act, I
Yeah,
think it
yeah,
is. Yeah, and they got 30 days to drop it. And we're trying to wait for it to drop it so we can just sit here and talk about that there. Then that I don't know. I think we got another one too. I think coming up after that, we're gonna be talking about women. Should women be on the front lines in the military? Should they be out there on the streets as police officers too? Boy, I think y'all gonna like that one there, boy. So I'm already thinking like I already got my like I'm locked in firm on this one on my thoughts, but that one right there should be good too. So once again, that's that. We hope you enjoyed this episode right here. Again, if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. And press the button. It's free. Just move your finger over your phone and bam, press that subscribe. I promise you ain't gonna get no bill in the mail. It's free. And we're gonna be dropping the content for you to enjoy, man. That's just what we doing like that. And make sure you tell your friends too. Going on, share the link to the page, tell them to subscribe to the podcast and check out Shunny and Stu on the Rockin' Chair
sure.
Chronicles. So that's just how we rocking, man. Like we sitting here talking, two brothers from two different generations, man. That's really
One
how
thing,
we doing.
one thing, y'all make sure y'all tell my big brother here, Shani, man, happy birthday on Monday.
Shoot. Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
December
it
8th.
is my birthday,
So
man.
y'all
Yeah.
wish him happy birthday and everything.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Send
Yeah.
donations if you would like.
Yeah, send donations. Man, I don't know how to go get this donation. But if you do want to send me a donation, email and give me your cash app. I got access to a cash app. I get a cash app if you just want to send a donation. I ain't turning away no donation. I'm just telling you that right now. So I thank you in advance for that there.
And also shout out to boy Thomas. It's his birthday today too.
Oh
Thomas,
yeah.
Thomas with a spoon.
Teaspoon, my boy Teaspoon.
Yeah.
Shout out to you too, boy. You're doing your thing too, man. We appreciate you a lot, brother. I think he a millennial too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thomas 91.
Yeah, he a millennial, but he more like a Gen X though.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see what he fall in. What he
if he see this,
with.
he'll let us know. Yeah.
Right.
But hey, thank y'all for joining in, man. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate all the love and support. Thank you for joining us today, and we gonna see y'all next time on the Rockin' Chair Chronicles, baby.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Remember, like, subscribe, and share.